Hello, Squirrel Tribe. Happy Thursday, my dudes. It is Thursday, February the 6th. This is not going to be political. This will not be a normal live stream that we do over here on Squirrel Tribe. I just want to give you a heads up before we really get into anything that this may be, and I'm going to use the leftist word for this may be triggering to some people based off of the subject matter we are going to discuss. I want to give you a heads up if this is something that you cannot comfortably sit through or would cause any sort of anxiety or uneasy feelings for you. Now is the time to leave, because this is going to be based off of how to even describe where we're about to go with this, so that you understand what you're getting into here. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is going to be along the lines of older men and younger women, girls, in a very inappropriate way. So I just want to put it to you like that. Possibly forced, possibly groomed, possibly whatever. So if this sounds like something that you cannot be here for because it may trigger you in some way, again, I know that people don't like that word, but it is an accurate word for right now. If it's something that is going to cause you any sort of mental or physical anguish to have this conversation, I would suggest leaving, because we're going to talk about something that has happened that is very severe in my personal opinion. So I love you all immensely, whether you stay or not. Thank you for being here. And if you're leaving, do what's best for you and your mental health right now, okay? We're just going to jump into this. It's going to be a very short live stream. It's just something that's been bothering me for a few days that I want to have the conversation about, but it is something that is definitely a difficult conversation to have, no matter who you are, male, female, young, old, whatever, especially if you have kids. This is going to be a very difficult conversation to have. You guys know I am 43, just turned 43 last month. And I am friends with a lot of people that I was friends with from elementary school, middle school, high school, and on Facebook. Facebook to me is a great place to keep in touch with extended family or previous friends or anything like that. And you want to be able to have like these conversations and keep up with each other. Like, oh, we were friends in 8th grade. I'd love to see what you're doing now in life, who your husband/wife is, your kids, your job, your whatever else. Same thing with the family members. You're like, we live in different parts of the country or different countries altogether. I want to know how my nieces and nephews and cousins and aunties and whatever are doing. So you stay on Facebook for that reason. I was on Facebook. You guys know I'm on Facebook. I tell you all the time that I'm on Facebook for friends and family reasons, nothing else, because Facebook, Meta in general, to me, is not the safest place to be, because they censor everything, they lie about everything, whatever else. That's their platform, whatever, but that's not what we're here for. So I'm on Facebook, and I see a friend request from somebody I have not been friends with since probably maybe 15 years ago. We were Facebook friends after we were middle school and high school friends. We were friends together in Girl Scouts long time ago. And we were friends on Facebook for a while. And then I realized that we had differing opinions on things. And so I was like, well, we're going to unfriend, because there's no point in being friends with people that you're not really aligned with mentally and values and things like that. So I unfriended. And I see this random friend request a couple nights ago, and I was like, why would this person be reaching out to me to be friends again when we did not end on, great terms? It was more of I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, what are we wasting our time for? So this person sends me a friend request, and I'm like, all right, maybe there's something here. So I accept the friend request because I'm curious, all right? Curiosity killed the cat is what they say. So I accept this friend request, and this friend request, this person sends me a message, a messenger request on Facebook, because it's like a DM, but for Facebook. And they send me this message, and they say, hey, do you remember so-and-so from high school? And they name this male that we went to school with. And my mind immediately goes into fond memories of this person. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember him, we have the same birthday, and every year on Facebook, every year, he sends me a happy birthday message, and I send him one back, because we've been friends since the 7th grade. I have pictures of us at our 7th grade homecoming or whatever dance, where we're both standing off to the side, having a conversation with each other. We were in band together, all kinds of stuff, right? We had MySpace, we were MySpace friends before there was Facebook and everything else, same birthday. And every year he reaches out to me first and says, happy birthday. And I say, happy birthday back. Well, this year I didn't get a happy birthday from him, and I thought nothing of it. Didn't think anything of it. I'm like, listen, we're in our 40s. We haven't been in school with each other for over 25 years. Like we graduated at 18. It's been a very long time. People's lives move on. He forgot. It's not a big deal, right? I didn't think anything of it. And then she asked me, hey, do you remember? And I said, yeah, you know, and I mentioned to her that I did not get that yearly happy birthday that Facebook will send you, because it reminds people that it's your birthday. So people you haven't heard from in forever will reach out on that one day a year to tell you happy birthday or whatever, right? And I said, yeah, I didn't get my regular happy birthday from him, but whatever. She goes, well, do you know what happened to him? So of course, my initial thought is, oh no, something happened. He's died, something wrong. And so I immediately, you know, you feel that pressure in your chest. You're like, I know we haven't seen each other in 20 plus years and we're not close or anything like that, but we were at some point in our lives. We were very close with each other. We were very good friends. You know, we hung out after school. We told each other things. We went to each other for advice, because that's the kind of guy he was when I was in school with him. And I had this pressure in my chest, like she's going to tell me something awful. And I was already mentally thinking about it and mentally getting emotional, and like I was going to cry and all kinds of stuff, because weirdly I'm a very emotional person, in case y'all have not realized. And I was steeling myself for this news that something awful had happened to him. And instead, the information that came back is the most atrocious thing I have ever heard. And my very first thought, and I'm just going to say it to you like this, my very first thought was, I wish that the information had been that he died, because that would have been better than what was just shared with me. So this guy that I went to high school with, same age as me, has an 11-year-old daughter. Sarah got it. Has an 11-year-old daughter, is now in jail for child molestation. And my very first thought is, but no, he was such a nice guy. Like, I remember him. He was great. There was nothing wrong with him. That can't be right. That's your first thought. Then your second thought is, it's never the people you think it's going to be. So this guy that I went to high school with, that I was friends with from 7th grade on, that we have kept in touch every single year, that I've seen pictures of his family, his wife, his 11-year-old daughter, his other child that he has, a newer child, 2 or 3 years old. I see where he works, what kind of job he does. He's in the church. He is a church youth pastor. He is all these different things. And I'm thinking to myself, that can't be right. They can't be right. And then I see he took a plea deal, to, you know, because of the charges were so severe. When I tell you that I was torn between crying and vomiting at the same time, it's absolutely, you don't expect it to be somebody you know. Like, it's crazy. And because I have a 15-year-old daughter, look, I'm going to try not to be emotional. There are no promises. My dumbass had 2 mimosas before we did this, trying to just like calm myself a little bit. So just, you know, forewarning, there may be random sniffles here. My daughter and my mother were here at the apartment with me when the information came through. And before I even thought, I was like, oh my fucking God, like, oh my God, are you serious right now? I'm talking to myself out loud. And so of course my mom is like, what? And I'm like, do you remember, you know, so-and-so? And I say his name. She goes, oh yeah, you guys were in band together and blah, 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 blah. And my daughter's on the couch next to my mom. And I'm like, you know, this is what happened. And I'm telling my mom. My daughter obviously overhears it, because I'm not thinking, but also she needs to know these things. We have these conversations all the time. And I'm telling her exactly what's going on. And it turns out that this man that I have known since, you know, we were in single digits, like 9 years old, since we were 9 years old, he was a goofball, right? He was in band and he was goofy and whatever else, but he never came across as somebody that would be that person. Again, you don't expect it to ever be somebody you know. He has a wife, he has a daughter. Like I said, he's a pastor at his church, or at church youth. The church youth, I don't know if that's still considered a pastor. He's not like over the congregation, but he teaches the youth at the church. And it turns out he was, I don't know if the word grooming is correct. Either way, he is a 43-year-old man who is now serving 20 years for child molestation, 20 years for sexual something or other, 10 years for something else, a year for tampering with evidence. Basically what it turned out is he was having some sort of something with the 14-year-old neighbor. Y'all, When I tell you that as a wife and as a mother, when I heard that he made it to jail, my first question was like, why? How? Heaven forbid anybody, please hold, lays a hand on my daughter. No, they will not make it to jail. That's not even going to happen. I have a bail fund for a reason, and it won't even be, I will gladly spend my life in jail. Gladly spend my life in jail if anybody ever lays a hand on my daughter. The fact that I have to explain to my child why she is not allowed to go to her friends' houses because they might have a dad there, they might have older brothers there, there might be an uncle there, is the most fucked up world that we live in. When I have to tell her, no, I'm sure they're great, but you just never know. And when a situation presents itself where I can turn to my child, where I have to turn to my child and say, this is what I'm talking about. You never know who is a sick fucking pervert. This is why you can't go places. How is this the world that we live in? It's all I want to know. It doesn't make sense to me. I have, as a 43-year-old woman, I have never looked at a 14-year-old boy and had any sort of inappropriate thought. How are these men looking at these young girls and having these thoughts and then following through with them? I will never go into any personal information on certain stuff, but there are reasons my daughter is not allowed to go to certain houses. There are reasons. There will always be reasons behind why I, as a mother, do what I do. Our kids may not understand why we do what we do. And you don't always want to explain because you don't want them to have that image in their head. You don't want to steal whatever innocence they may have. You don't want them to immediately distrust everybody. But at the same time, and this may sound stupid, but this is why women pick the bear. This is why they pick the bear over the man in the woods. Because you just never know. Sorry. My thoughts on this guy that I went to school with are, whatever he did to this neighbor that was found out, his wife has got to be beyond sick wondering if he ever touched their daughter. And that is what is the most, I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Not only did he ruin his life, he ruined the life of his wife, his children, the girl that he was doing inappropriate things to, her parents, her family, every single person. And I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, what is wrong with you in your head? What is wrong with you where you think that this is normal? What is wrong with the people outside of the people who are doing these things? What is wrong with our government, our system, where they think that this should be something that is accepted? You have people in Congress out there trying to make this something that is considered normal, that is not looked at as this sick fucking thing that it is. And they're trying to make it normalized, where it is, they're trying to take away how just life ruining something like this can be. Look, at 14, people at 14, myself, people at 14, girls at 14, for some reason, we feel like we need to be more mature, more whatever. And it's because we're being taught that we're supposed to try to be as pretty and as skinny as and attractive and sexy as we can possibly be from like the youngest age possible. And then when grown ass men are hitting on young girls or touching them inappropriately or saying inappropriate things to them or looking at them inappropriately, there's something wrong with us for looking at these men like they are scum of the earth and like they should just be castrated and left out hanging on a wall. There's nothing wrong with me for wanting people like this man to experience the worst level of pain possible, because they don't understand what they are doing to the people that they are destroying. They don't understand. I see these things on social media all the time about how, women need to learn to say no, and women need to learn to stand up for themselves, and women need to know that, quit letting guys hit on you and just tell them no. But at the same time, these same people don't understand what it's like to have a man chase you, or have a man hold you down, have a man rape you, have a man do any of these things to you. So they don't have any room to talk. All these people that are talking shit about Nancy Mace in Congress because she doesn't want men in the women's bathroom don't understand that once you have been physically, sexually assaulted by a man, it doesn't matter if they put on a fucking skirt or not, they are still a man and you still are afraid of them. You don't want them in your space. And so the person who sent me this thing about the guy I went to school with, it makes you look at everybody differently. If the person that you've known for the majority of your life can do something like this, what does that mean for the person next to you, your neighbor, the person across the street, the random person that you're walking next to in a crowd down the sidewalk? You just never know who is capable. And I'm not saying only men are capable of doing these things. Obviously, women are capable of being just as perverse and just messed up as men. But at the end of the day, how many women are overpowering men, boys? Whereas on the flip side, how many men are overpowering women and young girls? And we're just supposed to allow it to happen. We're supposed to be okay with changing the word from pedophile to minor attracted persons. What the fuck is that? Like, you want to make it okay to be somebody who is so mentally deranged that you look at a child and think that's okay? That will never be okay. Not in the United States of America. You want to be okay with it? Go live in one of those fucking countries that makes it okay for a 30-year-old man to marry a 9-year-old. That is absolutely disgusting. That is not allowed here. That should never be allowed here. That should never be looked at like it's okay. There's nothing okay about that at all. Ever. Ever. Y'all, I'm sorry. There are certain things where I can, try to keep my cool and stay calm and, whatever. But there are certain topics that it's not my daughter's 15. In a year, she will be able to go wherever she wants at 16. She'll have a driver's license. She can go to her friend's house. I can tell her all day long, don't go there. But at 16, she can choose to ignore my wishes and do it on her own. Do I think she will? No, because she understands why. She and I have had talks. She understands why. But there are so many girls out there who don't know. Either their parents shield them, or their parents don't have those conversations with them. Their parents don't want them to realize that not everybody is good, that there are evil people out there, and you have to be aware of that. You have to understand what grooming looks like. You have to understand what is inappropriate. You have to understand what going too far in an adult to child relationship looks like. And a lot of people don't have those conversations, either because they're afraid to, they don't know how to, they don't want their child to be scared of things. I would much rather my child be scared at the end of the day than to be ignorant. So we have had the conversations, but I also don't want her to, it's such a weird balance as a mother to find, where you are raising your child to be independent and aware of everything, but also raise them to be not scared of everything, but also cautious of everything. Like, how do you balance that? That's what I don't understand. As a mom of a daughter, it is definitely not the same as a mom raising a boy. And I know y'all can attest to that. You tell a boy, hey, wrap it up. You tell a girl, hey, don't wear that skirt. You don't want to give a boy a reason to think that he has the okay to just, whatever. It's not the same conversation. Having a daughter is fucking terrifying, because as a woman, you know exactly what is possible, what could happen to her. Raising a son, though, has got to be the same thing. You know what he could grow up to be, or what he could do, or any of these different things. Being a parent, nobody tells you when you get pregnant that this is the hardest thing you will ever do in your entire life. And it's not like you're doing it for one day. The second you get pregnant to the second you die, you are terrified for your kid, because you just never know. You just never know. So my daughter, she has male teachers. She's played in sports where she had male coaches, and we always had the conversation. I would always say, hey, how was this class? How was that sport? Did your teacher, do they hug you? Like, I asked the questions when she was younger. Hey, how is it in your class? Are your teachers like super nice, super friendly? And you try to ask when they're younger in a way that doesn't make it seem weird, but what teachers give you hugs at the end of the day? And if she only names the male teacher, you automatically have, that instinct of, no, that's not right. Hey, do any of your teachers give you little pet names? And if it's only the male teacher that gives you a pet name, you feel sick and something's wrong. Finding out that it's somebody that is, it's just so difficult. And it's not somebody I've seen, and like I said, in the last 20 something years, but it's somebody I knew, somebody I was close with, I was friends with, that like I said, I've seen his Facebook, his pictures and his videos of his family and his daughter and everything else. And to know that he was going to church on Sundays and on Wednesdays and teaching the youth, the girls in there, and taking them on retreats and stuff. And it's like, what other girls or boys, who knows, have been affected by this person without realizing it, maybe, or without knowing that they should speak up because their parents never told them where the boundaries are between adults and children. It's something that makes you physically sick to your stomach, and there's nothing you can do about it, which is even more messed up. You know what's happening. You saw what happened. You're glad he's in jail, but that poor girl, his poor daughter, his wife, the parents of that girl, it's just, oh God, it's absolutely awful. Friendships end because of things like this. Marriages end because of things like this. His wife posted or filed for divorce 2 days after she found out what happened, and was immediately granted the divorce. And then, you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe it's not real, because you don't want to think that somebody you know is capable of that, but then you feel real fucked up for thinking, well, maybe the 14-year-old made it up. You don't want to think a 14-year-old is going to make up something like that. Like, that's disgusting, right? But there are obviously people out there like that who will lie and stuff like that. So you think to yourself, well, maybe it's not right. Maybe she was, wanted him and he didn't want to do it, and so she lied to her parents or whatever else, and then he took the plea deal. And it's like, oh God, just, it hurts you. Like, the poor girl, whether it was a grooming mutual thing or not, it wasn't really mutual. She's 14. He's 43 years old. There's nothing okay about that. Oh, that poor girl. Oh, all I can say is, for those of you who are parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever you happen to be, have the hard conversations with the kids that you know, because people don't realize what grooming is until it's too late. People don't realize what boundaries are until they have been crossed and something feels wrong. People don't realize that things are not okay if they're not taught what not okay is. You know what I mean? So I think the most important thing for us as parents to do is to make sure our children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, everybody understand the line between friendship or love and sickness and grooming and perversion, because there is a line, and people need to understand the signs of when it's been crossed, because a lot of people don't know, and then by the time you realize, it's too late. So this 14-year-old girl may not have known. She just thought it was, the guy who taught her youth Bible study. She just thought that that's all it was, and the next thing you know, it's gone too far and things have happened and there's no going back from that. So just absolutely, y'all, again, I apologize, but I've told you numerous times that I look at you like friends and family, and it's a conversation that I needed to have for my own, I just needed to get it out, because you hold on to that kind of stuff, it'll eat away at you. You have to have the conversation. So you got to teach people that not everybody is to be trusted, and that there are signs to be on the lookout for. And parents, you got to be on the lookout for signs in your children and relationships that they have and who the relationships are with. You have to be on top of that, because you just never know who is overstepping what boundaries. So, blah. Oh, not the direction I thought it was going to go. I thought we were just going to be angry and pissed off and whatever. I did not expect it to be, snotty-nosed, whatever with it. So, that's that. We'll do this again later on a lighter note, more political probably, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but this was just, it was one of those things that was like eating away at me, and I just, I don't know. I don't know how to like get it out of my brain, get the images out of my head. It's one of those things. I don't know. So I love y'all immensely. Thank you for letting me have every conversation that we have together. It means the world to me, just so you know. Okay, before we do this again, I love you. I'm gonna let you guys go and quit watching my snotty face right now. I'll see you guys again a little bit later. No tears later, I promise. No tears later. We will not do this again. We're gonna woosah. We're gonna breathe. We might have another mimosa to calm ourselves down. And that's that. I love you guys. Make sure that your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, everybody knows that you love them, and that you are a safe space for them to talk to if they ever need somebody to trust and talk to. Okay? To me, that's the most important thing to take away from this. So that's that. I'll see you guys later. Okay? I love you. Goodbye. Adios.